super proud of these guys tonight. Less than 2 weeks ago, coming out of the Olympic break on national television, just did not compete real well against this same New York team. So for us to step back up, especially after the disappointment from Dallas, it just says so much about this team's character. Just really proud of them and for them, that they continue to just grind during this year. I think our practice yesterday, getting back to the basics and really focused in on defense. I just really proud of accomplishing the scheme that we wanted to try tonight against New York. So again, team effort, multiple people in double figures, our turnovers low. Our defense really turned them over almost the 30 points. Ray with a big fourth quarter for us, tied her career high. Odyssey, doesn't get enough credit for leading a team that she hasn't been with very long, but then chased around Sabrina the entire night at the other end. So full team victory for us tonight, and proud again. Just shows, despite injuries, illnesses, all the adversity that this team has faced, that we haven't quit, and that we're super proud of the effort tonight.
We'll start with players' questions first, and then they'll leave, and then we'll go to Curt. Start with DJ.
Hey, Dearica, DJ from Infinity TV. In our chat before the game, you talked a lot about the energy and how fun it was to play basketball. Do you see this game as a reflection, just retrospectively, of what we talked about?
Yeah, I mean, this game brought a lot of confidence to our team, especially our younger girls. And like I said, I think we all enjoy playing basketball, but it makes it a lot funner to get some wins.
By the way, Dearica had 5 assists and 0 turnovers tonight.
And so, Ray, this question is for you. Just when you having performances like tonight, just how much does that do for your confidence moving forward for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, everybody likes to see the shots go in. It makes me feel good. I'm just happy that my team was able to put me in great positions to get those shots, and I'm just happy that they were able to celebrate me too. That also makes me feel really great, the support that they have for me. So, yeah.
Hey, Dearica, this one for you, Jackie with Jackie Ray TV. You guys always seem to show up in the right moments with the big teams. How have you guys talked about how you can make sure that happens no matter who you're playing throughout the season?
Yeah, I think we've consistently shown 3 quarters out of 4 quarters with any team we're the better team on the floor. But we haven't been able to close games, so this is what we've been talking about. We blew it in Dallas. So down the stretch, we emphasize we got to close this game. We got to close this game. We got to get stops. We got to get stops. And so just gutted it out.
Dearica, as somebody who's won a championship in this league, knows what it takes to win at the highest level, for you guys, who have you kind of struggled closing out games throughout this season, to get a win like tonight, where you close it out, take control of the game in the fourth quarter, just kind of what does this do for a team that's young as you are?
Yeah, I mean, we know championship teams, and it's close, but they take time, A part of that last team I was on, it took us 5-6 years to get to where it was and where it is now. So we know it's a process. We think we have key pieces. We've shown that we have key pieces in our young team. And just keep building, like you said, we're not necessarily focused on maybe winning a championship this year, but we had a defensive practice yesterday and just focused on building for the rest of the season and next year.
Last question for players.
Right. Excuse me. At the beginning, at the outset of the season, you played sparingly. However, whenever you got in, you remained engaged. Can you just talk to me about your mental approach towards just being ready when your number is called?
Yeah, I mean, really just controlling what I can control. I have that tattooed on me. Just, controlling your attitude and the work that you put in, the extra work that you put in, and just staying ready and just make sure to continue to be a good teammate and just staying engaged, like you said, for when your number is called, and just know that you put in that work to be ready for those moments.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, ladies. Good one.
Yeah.
We'll start with questions for Curt. Michael first.
So, Coach, just speaking of Odyssey, she comes off the big game, 26-10, and tonight, close to 10 assists as well. Just what has she been brought to the team as far as her veteran leadership and just her point guard play? Because it seems like she's talking to the ladies out there and calming them down. She's become that voice on the floor for the team.
Yeah, she's a true vet. In a league that is constantly hunting for point guards. She has a proven track record. She's leading us. She's getting more and more comfortable every day. I told her again multiple times tonight that I really believe in her and I believe that she's a closer and I called her my dog tonight, she just, she just has the confidence and the swagger to be really, really special. So, she's had great moments in this league and I'm glad she's with us now. She's a person that certainly deserves to be in this league. And she's getting more comfortable with us, which is a good sign.
Andres Soto, LA Times. Rickea was a really big part of that first half, getting you guys off with 15 points in the first half. And she was also coming off a career high from Sunday's game. How big has her growth been this season, and what have you liked from her?
Yeah, you guys, if we go back and watch film in May or talk about the training camp to where she is now, I talked about this in the pregame with the media that was here. It's remarkable how much she's improved within the season. She is competing so hard at the defensive end now. Like she was fighting through screens tonight. She was switching and battling people bigger than her. She was staying in plays. There is a absolute intent and dedication to that end of the floor, which is really fun to see. It doesn't get talked about because she's such a dynamic 3-level scorer. I don't know how many games in a row it is now that she has gotten us off to great starts. And we've played through her a lot, and she's had great first quarters. She is really, really special at the offensive end and is only going to get better. She now has the confidence and she knows she has the green light to not hesitate at a 3. She's in a groove right now, shooting the 3. And it's really fun to see. That just makes her even more dynamic. She's going to be a special one, and we're all seeing it, and we're all seeing the growth. But again, shout out to my assistant coaches that watch tons of film with her and are in the gym working. But the improvement from May to now is truly amazing. It is not easy with the cadence of games and the season that we're having. It's not always easy to improve in season, and to watch what she's doing is really impressive.
Hey, Coach DJ from Infinity TV. Quickly want to ask you about your assessment of 3-point shooting from New York tonight. Going into the game and your game plan, how did we fare in comparison to what you expected?
Yeah, they're a team that averages 33s. We went to halftime, they only had 12. So we felt really good about where we were at halftime, not only their percentage of makes, obviously, but their volume. And that was one of the keys going in. They've averaged 15 made threes in those first 3 games against us this year. So again, they crept towards their average, right, to 30 and got some late. But I thought we did a really good job for the most part with our schemes to try to stay in place. Again, they are so talented even without JJ. And for us to turn them over into 29 points is one of our best defensive performances. And, again, that fourth quarter was kind of a chess match because of no JJ. They were playing smaller, so we played smaller. Very underrated, in that fourth quarter was the ability for Steph Talbot to be able to play the 4 and chase around Stewie, and allowed us to have a Rae on the floor.
Yeah.
If we were traditionally 2 bigs with either Azare or Lee, we may not get to see Rae the amount of minutes in that fourth quarter. So we went small also. I thought it was a good switching team, and it paid off, and Rae really stepped up for us in that moment playing small. But that doesn't happen without the versatility, as we talked with some of you guys pregame, on the strength that Steph Talbot allows us to do with all her versatility. Jackie.
Hey, Coach, I had a chance to talk to Stewie, and she said that the Sparks are one of the most dangerous teams in the league, which means you're being recognized for the work that you're doing. So in the position that you're in right now, what is the focus going forward?
Yeah, I think that's a compliment because I played with her children in Paris. So I paid her off a little bit. But no, just, coming from one of the greatest in the world, it's nice to see that people are seeing that we're growing. People are seeing and respecting what we're doing. It's not always equating into wins. We know that, there's no moral victories in this league, but people know every time that they have to prepare and they have to play us, and that we have a lot of young pieces, and again, we're doing this with a lot of injuries and illness. So I'm proud of them that they could feel what it feels like to win again, especially against a team like New York.
Coach, you guys had 29 points off turnovers. Just what about the defense was able to make you get those turnovers, and how did it propel your offense?
Yeah, I thought we did a really nice job of staying in plays, and that was some of our schemes, that we adjusted to. We kept them out of the paint better than we did the first, 3 games in the series. And while not perfect, we were better overall in transition. And part of that is your offensive execution. That's our second straight game, shooting over 50%. That's a really encouraging sign for our team to have 2 straight games like that. We had a franchise, record type performance offensively against Dallas. We didn't get to celebrate the win though. So, part of your defense is your offensive execution. It's your first line. So they're taking the ball out of bounds and not running at you because they're the best team in transition in the league. So, part of our whole defensive success tonight of turning them over, gets correlated back to our offensive execution.
Hi, Coach. Mia from Annenberg Media. At practice, you talked about how what you really needed to see in your team tonight was fight. Can you talk a little bit about how you saw that fight and how you want to see it going forward in the season? Yeah, I loved our fight. I loved our start. I don't have to remind you guys, it was 10-0 in a hurry here, that first game back after the Olympic break with them, and I didn't think we responded to that punch. And we got off to a much better start. In fact, we turned them over the first 2 possessions of the game, and it really set the tone of activity, playing with active hands. We played that whole fourth quarter defensively against Dallas without turning them over. So, that certainly we reminded them that. So when we came out and turned them over the first 2 possessions, that was a really big start for us.
Coach, Dearica aforementioned, you guys are able to compete with any team for 3 quarters. It's that fourth quarter that always gives you a challenge. Coming off the Olympic break, dropping 6 games, just what does it feel like to get a win?
Yeah, it feels great. I'm so proud of them. It's, you feel better with wins, obviously, but, more proud that they proved to themselves that they could step back up and fight, and that we were better than what we looked like in that fourth quarter, despite we failed to keep talking about, we scored 110 points in that game. Yeah. But, I just, it's really rewarding for them in that locker room. They already were going to have 2 days off. So nothing better than going to a couple of days off of a win.
We're going to go to Zoom now. So Michael Vogel from ESPN.
Yeah, Coach Miller, if you look at the last couple of days, the bottom 3 teams in the standings all have big wins over playoff teams. With you guys, Dallas, and Washington. Obviously, you and Dallas played a tremendous game the other day. Can you just talk about it? I just feel like nobody gives up in this league. Like there isn't nobody's mailing it in, even if they're at the bottom of the standings. And you can see that in other leagues, but we're not seeing that. I wonder if you could speak to that from both the Sparks perspective, but what we're seeing, really with the entire league.
Yeah, Michael, I mean, I'm preaching to the choir. You understand this. It's such a fine line between winning and losing in this league. There are tremendous players, top to bottom. Zia Cook continues to wait her turn and be a true professional for us. And, she's a really good player too. So there's just really good players in this league. There's a fine line between winning and losing. And, anyone can beat anyone. It truly is that way in this league. And if you can disrupt someone and you can get them on their heels, you can do this. And this is why you see it. And no one's, you know, if I have to read the word tank one more time, I mean, we are trying to get better, and we're building something special. And you know, no team in this league is going to quit. The 2-year aggregate, you know, makes that, you know, so, you know, silly to even talk about. But you know, again, you know, I appreciate the comment of our Dallas game. I thought it was a tremendous game. Disappointment for us, but what an offensive performance by both teams. And you know, both teams went into that game, you know, tied for 11th and 12th.
Last question, Raj.
Coach, the Liberty run a lot of actions to leverage Sabrina's shooting. You talked about the defensive schemes, but can you kind of go into specifically against her? 0 for 4 from 3 in the first half, 3 for 13 from 3 overall. Can you just talk about the success you guys had against her, especially in that fourth quarter to hold the lead?
Yeah, I think, you know, we tried to show her bodies. You know, truly hats off to Odyssey and Crystal that got the assignment in that first half. Odyssey just chased her around all night. But, you know, we tried to, you know, try to keep her off balance and just make things as difficult as possible and start, you know, stay in place. Where Sabrina has crazy improved is, you know, being a 3-level scorer herself and being able to get into the paint, and with her float game and her mid-range game now is elite as it is. It's not easy to disrupt her, but loved our physicality. I loved our attention to detail on our Sabrina coverage tonight.
Thanks, Curt.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Don't bother me for 48 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks a lot. Yeah. Thanks.